Hey, my water signs, how you doing? How you doing? So if you are a water sign element, that being a Cancer, Pisces, or Scorpio, or have any of these placements in your chart, then this will be your new moon solar eclipse reading. All right, everyone? So I hope you guys are doing well. So let's get right into your reading, as I do have two more elements to cover. So hopefully you guys, I will provide you some guidance and some clarity as to what this solar eclipse will mean for you guys during the next 6 months, as that is the effects of the solar eclipse. So before we get started, though, into the actual spread, into your reading, I'm going to give you guys, just like I did with the other elements, a brief overview as to what this solar eclipse will mean for you under the sign of Libra with the new moon. And so by understanding what it is and what it entails, then you will better understand not only the full spectrum of what this eclipse would mean, but you will see how it can correlate with your messages that have come out for you today. All right, my water signs. So for the overview, this new moon phase is attached with a solar eclipse, and it's an eclipse of transformation and realization. So keep that in the back of your head while you are listening to the messages for you. So the two main focuses of this eclipse is bringing focus of realization and transformation. Okay? Now, the question is, how so? Saturday morning, October 14th, at 10:55 a.m. Pacific time brings a very special lunation. Not only is this new moon an eclipse, but there is a remarkable presence of Aries, known as a dwarf planet. But its energy is related to the expression, the no-holds-barred fight for continued existence that is fundamental when making a stand for what one believes, especially for of ourselves. And so this feminine warrior energy, that of Aries, which is a feminine warrior energy, the attitude of Aries will help with our own soul intention, allowing us to go deep within our psyche, encouraging us to find our deepest values and act upon these as we make our way forward. Now that will be what you would say the realization aspect of this eclipse. Okay, now going into the transformational aspect of what this eclipse can represent is that there is the planet Pluto. That has been said, that has been featured in recent new moon configurations, pointing to our inner moral compass. The moral is that these are very extreme, difficult times here on planet Earth, as can be seen with the recent unrelenting two wars that is going on, unfortunately, at this time. So with world events and the planets that are at play unbeknownst to us, the relevance is that unexpected events still are in the works. And so more than ever, we all need to find within ourselves the courage, the faith, and our faith in the universe and ourselves to continue to go on. And in speaking about ourselves, there's also planet Chiron in the mix, which will further and heighten the focus of a more deeper, in-depth of our emotional feelings that is and has been existing within our deeper layers of emotions. And that translates to, if you will, in the tarot card, there is the moon card. That major arcana of the moon card is just like what this planet Chiron is about in terms of going within ourselves. It's also an archetype, that of the wounded healer. Representative of that would be like the Nine of Wands in tarot, because it's an energy representing inner wounding. And as a result of some unresolved early childhood trauma, however, ultimately, it can transmute the potential for the healing of such issues. Therefore, this eclipse highlights an opportunity to find our way forward in spite of and even with the aid of our own internal wounding. So in closing, this solar eclipse new moon will give us a great deal of ammunition to fuel us in finding our most authentic self as we move forward to proceed along our desired or destined path. All right? And again, for emphasis, this eclipse effect will be extended within the next 6 months. So, with that being said, even though the effects of it is for a 6-month period, what I have done here pertaining to you guys' layout, as with the other elements, is that I have in fact pre-shuffled and pre-pulled. But with your layout, what's included is a 3-card oracle from Angel Spirit or Angel Guide deck that is going to, as I would like to call it, what could be potentially you guys' challenges during the 6 months. But I pulled 3 cards because I'm going to give you guys, in hindsight, a preparation of what challenges you might face for the next 3 months, but it can actually continue on for the rest or the duration of this eclipse. Okay? So, right quick, so you know where and how I am have arranged your layout. We're starting off with a card from the Sun Oracle deck, which is representative of the solar eclipse, because the solar is like relating to the sun. It's a very powerful energy. So I want to start off you guys reading, as with the others, with that powerful oracle to see what will set the theme for you guys overall during the 6 months. Even though this will be giving you an idea of what it will look like for you for the next 3 months, which would include January of 2024, but that will be your solar theme from now until like April, which I think is kind of like the ending, the phase out of this eclipse, okay? And then behind that is the cards that I pulled for your challenges. I pulled out 3, which is going to present 3 possible challenges for you guys. And like I said, it came from the Angel Guide. And then under those, each of those cards, I pulled out 2 tarot cards that is going to be the overall message to help you to overcome those challenges, right? Whichever one you might identify with. And then we will close out and end out with another oracle coming out from the wisdom of the oracle deck, okay? To get the final advice and the wisdom of what your spirit guides have to say that will kind of, you can say, wrap up and sum up the overall message for you guys, okay? So I hope that made sense. So let's start. So the card that came out for you guys that is going to represent you guys' solar theme for the duration of this eclipse 6-month period, the card that came out was that of status, okay? Now my ring light might be bright, so I don't know how well you can see this, but it is of status. This is what came out for you water signs, okay? Now what does that mean? Well, if you really look, you see here 2 people. It's almost like a king and a queen, because it is very interesting, because looking down, you guys got both the king and the queen that came out in your spread. Very interesting, but nonetheless, because you see a crown here. So the crown will represent a crown, 1 crown for the queen and 1 crown, the other crown for the king, right? So we got masculine and feminine energies here. So really, what is the message? Well, it's connected to also the planet of Venus, even though we are not speaking about Venus, but in somewhere, there's a lot of configurations right now that is taking place during the solar eclipse. So somewhere in the mix, I'm sure Venus is present, right? Nonetheless, though, the energy or the message of this card of status is that for some of you, now what's interesting is that even though I pre-pulled potential challenges for you guys, this actually might be some of you guys' challenge is status, because status is almost like that phrase, keeping up with the Joneses, right? And so going back to that 1/2 of what the solar eclipse is, remember I said it's about transformation and realization. Some of you might come to a realization that you might be doing too much in terms of your financial, the way you see things, in terms of your financial values. Now, don't get me wrong. We all have financial goals when it comes to things that we look to in terms of how we get through in life. We need money, right? But money don't equate to wealth, if that makes sense. We all need money because money is used to buy food so we can eat. Money is used to pay for the roof and provide a roof for which we live under, right? Food, money is used to provide not only shelter, but also for our loved ones if we are helping someone. However, though, there is also the expression, too much of anything is not good, especially if it kind of is the top priority. If we place ourselves or replace our pursuit of money and possessions, right? Because it's also connected to that of earth. So you think about like the earth signs is connected, kind of be connected to wealth, materials, and possessions, the comforts of home. All those things is okay, but is a balance, right? And at the same time, what I was going to say is there's nothing wrong when we need to rely on finances to get us through in life because it's a part of life. It's how we function. It's how we live, right? But are we taking it to the extreme? Are we taking it where the focus then becomes a priority? When we prioritize or have status and gaining an X amount of excessiveness when it comes to wealth, right? Sometimes it can begin to affect us mentally, physically, emotionally, and psychologically. Because again, it becomes overwhelming. As long as we can sustain enough of money or finances that we are able to be comfortable and make ends meet, then in itself, anything extra that we get, it would be more like a blessing, right? But to make it our top priority, right, is something that maybe you guys might have to realize, because it's like, in one aspect, to have the status type of thing that is going on for some of you, is it actually taking away from myself? Because I get here also that some of you need to kind of take a step back to kind of chill, right? Maybe some of you have been overworking, right? Because we got a lot of pentacles here, which means that for some of you, you guys have been putting in a lot of work. You've been really maybe becoming workaholics. And when you do that, in fact, you are ignoring your own self. You are not pouring into yourself. You are pouring into something else. But you are diminishing your energy. So we should never, ever get to a point that we are overexerting ourselves, right? Even if we are our own boss, our own entrepreneur, there's times that we do need to take a break, right? So I feel that this is what the status energy is about and what the message is kicking in for you guys as you guys theme for the next 6 months, right? And it's interesting because, like I said, I feel that this might be some of you realization. And when you realize something and become aware that, yes, maybe I do need to kind of take a step back, slow down, and to maybe, if it's at work, take some time off to give myself or to make myself a priority and not my work, not my job, even if it means taking a step back from your family. And it's not that you're being selfish, but self-care is very important for all of us. We all need self-care because self-care represents and equates to what? Self-love. If we don't self-love ourselves, then how are we going to be there for other people, especially in our environment? So I hope that part makes sense. So that is what you guys' theme is for the duration of this next 6-month eclipse period. Now let's talk about you guys' potential challenges. Remember, I picked out 3. So the first challenge that came up for you guys is earth and ground. So after just explaining to you what your theme is, it correlates with earth and ground. How so? Because if you look at this image, this looks like somebody that is doing what? Somebody that is in a place, right? And a happy space, a place, a quiet moment. And generally, when you see someone in this position, they are meditating. So this is what I'm saying. It's calling for you guys to take time to meditate. Now, this might have been a challenge up until now, to take time out for yourself to meditate. Because when you meditate, you are, in fact, nourishing your mind, body, and soul. And when you do that, you're able to get clarity. You're definitely able to get some sense of peace, but there's also a sense of balance. Meditation gives you a sense of balance, because I also feel that some of you guys have been not balanced. You've been out of balance, right? And so with that being said, I feel that there's a need for that, okay? Now, to clarify the two tarot cards that came out, the Seven of Cups and the Seven of Pentacles. So this is the first energy of the card that is kind of correlating with earth and ground, because the Seven of Pentacles is that associated with the earth element, and the Seven of Pentacles is investing. But in this essence, it's going back to nature. So there's a call and a need for some of you to really take time out to connect with nature. Now that could be, you guys, for those that have homes, or maybe have gardens. You may not even have to have a home, but particularly if you have a home, you're a homeowner and you have a garden, maybe spend some time, take a time back from work, spend some time in nature. Maybe pay attention to, the soil from your garden, plant something, kind of get more in tune. Because also when you go out on the ground, in the grass, on the ground, and you ground your stuff like barefoot, it's also a source of healing as well. So I feel that for some of you, there's a message for someone that needs to understand the need to ground yourself, to connect with Mother Earth, because Mother Earth holds some very magical power, but it's almost like a recharge, if you will. So some of you at this time, during this period, need to realize first, because in order to see some type of transformation, you need to realize what you need to do to change something. You can't just change something without understanding what it is. Once you have seen and understand what it is you need to change, then you can proceed and go forward with that transformation. Now, the Seven of Cups is you guys' energy. Cups is related to you guys. This is about emotions, the cups. But it's also being confused. For some of you, it might be confused during this period of time. So the challenge here is, if you are confused, if you are in a period where you cannot think clearly, if you are not understanding why things is coming up, what is going on with your life, then you need to meditate. Take that time out, recharge, because meditation opens up the space for solitude, right? You don't meditate with other people, but it opens up the space for you to be in solitude to get your answers, to come out of this confusion. So for some of you, I feel that most of these challenges is something that you guys have already been dealing with. So the fact that it's coming up as a challenge is saying to use this eclipse to try to overcome this challenge, to work on this challenge, to work on the challenge of grounding yourself, connecting to Mother Earth, if that makes sense, okay? Now, to move over to your second possible potential challenge, what came out, joy and contentment. So it really smooths over to your first challenge about joy and contentment. Now, joy and contentment is contentment definitely within yourself, right? Have you felt that you are contented with where you at? Are you contented with the way your life is going? Are you contented with someone that possibly is connected to you in a relationship? Have you been contentment? If not, then you're not happy. So maybe the challenge is coming up because it's showing you during this time, find what will bring you that source of contentment. Now, think about it. If you're coming out of that meditative type of energy, now maybe you might be able to target what it is that haven't brought you joy and contentment. Because remember, you're coming out of that confusion. And so meditation is going to help unfog that confusion so that you can remove, cut out things that has been blocking joy and contentment for you, if that makes sense, right? Now, to clarify that potential second challenge, the tarot card that came out was the King of Swords and the Queen of Swords. Now, remember when I spoke about connecting back to your overall theme of status, which the crown at the top of these two people, which representing a king and a queen. It's interesting that under this challenge of joy and contentment that you got a King of Swords and along a Queen of Swords. Now, for some, this will point to a relationship or a connection, a love connection that you guys are connected to, that perhaps you haven't been happy, you haven't been contented in some sort of a relationship. And with that being said, the King and King of Swords, they both represents, in fact, a couple, a divorced couple, if you will, or a couple that's on the verge, if you will, of a divorce. But there's some type of separation. Why? Because why haven't you seen any joy and contentment? It's because, no doubt, there has been a lot of arguments going on, a lot of backbiting is what it is, and a lot of words back and forth, not seeing eye to eye. So there's been some conflicts, some annoyances, some disturbances, a lot of words, harsh words, because both the King and Queen of Swords, they are very hard. They are very truthful, right? So being that you guys are a water sign, this could indicate as well that you might be dealing with somebody of air energy. And air energy would be Gemini, Libra, or Aquarius. Maybe it might be a Libra that you guys are dealing with. But whatever it might be, it is representing that of the air energy. Source is associated with air. So if some of you are dealing with an air sign, doesn't have to be. It's just what the energy is presenting of what could be potentially the challenge to you seeing joy and contentment during this 6 month. So you would know how that will affect you, or if it will in some way, something that you have already been dealing with. And now during this eclipse, it would help you to make that transformation to kind of maybe cut out and remove that conflict, that person, place, or thing. It could be at work. It could be at work that you are having some contentiousness or some words or something back and forth that's not quite working out. So this could be a period, like I said, that you are cutting out and really standing up to speak your piece about something that might be giving you a lack of joy and a lack of contentment. All right? Now, the last challenge that came out for you guys was take charge and action. I think it speaks for itself. So overall, whatever this may mean for you, as this is a general for you collective water signs, it's the time to take charge and action. And remember, the last part of the overview, it says that this eclipse was going to do what? That it will bring a great deal of ammunition to fuel us in finding our most authentic self as we move forward to proceed toward our destined path. So if you're looking to go toward your destined path, but even if you're just looking for overall contentment, a peace of mind, then you would need to take charge and take action to will that into your reality, realization, right? So you have to realize, and I'm taking charge to get rid of something, right? If you are complaining about not seeing joy and contentment, that means that you have not taken charge to take action, right? So that could be a challenge, or as I think this is something that you guys have already been dealing with. And this is just giving you a bird's eye view as that this is like what has probably been going on, and it's telling you what is needed to overcome the challenge. Okay? Now, the two cards that came out under that challenge, the third one, is the Knight of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles. So, again, now for some, this could go back to your theme of status. Ten of Pentacles is of status, or someone that is of good financial status. But it's like you don't get it so easily. You have to work for it. So to me, it's tying into the fact that, again, having money is good, but everything in moderation. So it's like a check, a check in on yourself to see if in fact are you overworking? Are you becoming excessive in the way you look at possessions? That is financial possessions. So this may be like I said, giving you somewhat of a check to kind of see, am I putting too much of a focus, too much of priority, oh boy, a priority on money, right? And then with the Knight of Swords, it's just like what the third challenge is calling for you to do. Take action, take charge. That is what the Knight of Swords is. It's one of the fastest moving energy of all the knights. It's taking charge and to move forward. Because when you take charge and take action, you can see yourself for it, right? And so that is the overall theme as well with the solar eclipse, to take charge, because this eclipse is also giving us ammunition to do so. But if you don't utilize the eclipse energy for your best purpose, then you're going to stay unstuck. No, not unstuck. You want to become unstuck, but you're going to allow yourself to stay stuck. And by doing that, you are blocking, you are allowing these challenges to still be present. And that's what you don't want, right? So it's time to, as well, see that sword on this knight, he's going through, cutting out anything that do not serve him, because he is focused, he's on a mission, right? Even though we got the expression, slow and steady wins the race, and sometimes we have to really take action, because taking that action is where we're going to ultimately see a result of something. After realizing something, sometimes we have to take action in order to see transformation, right? So that's what that is. So I hope that that made sense for you. And as we close out, the card that came out from Spirit in terms of your overall message from Spirit, and what will, as I call it, what will sum up your overall message behind your solo theme, and the overall message that came out was breathe. I think that speaks for itself. I don't think I need to pretty much really go in any further with explaining breathe. Breathe is just what it means, the energy to breathe. But also, if you look at this imagery, there's this young lady here who is, again, somewhat like this card, this energy, sitting in a meditative state. So the fact that we have gotten these two cards that came out, it's really somehow pointing to the focus that some of you out there, even if it's just one, needs to pay attention to allow yourself to take a step back and breathe. Find your happy space, that quiet moment that's going to allow you to recharge and to pour into yourself and to give yourself and make yourself, I should say, your own priority. All right, water signs, I hope the message was very clear. I hope I gave you some guidance as to what it is that you might potentially be facing, or at least how you can overcome these potential challenges for you, that whether you have already been dealing with it or it might come up during the 6 month, how you can basically overcome it. All right, and if any of this message of this reading did hit home a little bit for you, but you're still curious and want to know even more pertaining to your own unique situation, I am open for personal readings, so the information will be in the description box where you can book your own private session with me via email, and then there is where I can give you a more extended, detailed reading tailored for your own energy and your situation. All right, my water signs, until the next time, I'm wishing all of you a wonderful Friday night, a wonderful weekend ahead. Until next time, thanks for watching. Peace, love, and light. Oh, and don't forget, smash that thumbs button to give me a like if you like this reading. Thank you.